Louis Castrejon.
And I'm Monaj.
And we're with Young Voices TV, and today we are here with Warren Farrell, the author of The Myth of Male Power.
Correct.
Yeah. Hi, Warren. How are you doing today?
I'm doing real well.
Okay, hi. So, Warren, I was watching your TEDx videos and just basically all your videos on YouTube. And I have a few questions to ask you. One is, when you talk about the boys' crisis, there's a part in your TEDx video where you mentioned that we need to, how would I put this correctly? We need to start getting rid of typical male stereotypes, such as males have to be the ones to go out, earn money, and if not, you're just some loser.
Yes.
My question is you never really answered in the videos, how do we slowly start breaking that down within society of, males have to be the ones to earn money? So slowly, like, what would be the first steps we would take?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things to talk to a woman about as you meet a woman is to start talking before you go out on a date about the fact that you care about, really, you respect women enough to really have equality work in every way. So you want her to be listened to, you want to be able to support her to go as far as she wishes to go, and you also want to be able to not feel free that you have to make money creating at a job that makes more money but that you like less. And so that part of supporting you to do that is to not be expected to be the one who asks her out, but you choose the time to ask each other out if you want to go out together, and that when you are out, by both of you being asked together, so to speak, to deciding on that together, you then go ahead and expect that both of you will pay, share the bill, and so you don't begin. So you start, and you will get rejected by some women, but many women, if you frame it that way, will say, "Oh, this is interesting. He believes in respecting me, but he also believes, and he's strong enough to respect himself as well, and to say what he needs and wants." And so women like strength, and many men don't. Many men automatically pay because they don't have the strength to speak up about sharing. And so that's the beginning of selecting for women who are willing to share responsibility rather than just say, I'm a victim, and rely on victim power.
No, that is power. And we are at the National Coalition for Men's Summit right now. And I liked how you spoke of power, because to me, when I think of power is not just, money or big businesses. Some of the most powerful people in the world are people who just, in general, just loved and cared. Yes. And that right there, just being able to share and show love is powerful itself.
Yes, Anaj.
One thing I wanted to ask you is, what do you feel is one of the most detrimental things for youth today, and what are some of the most effective ways of helping those kids get through that and coming into adulthood?
Yeah, I think the single biggest thing that's impacting the boy crisis in youth today is the lack of father involvement. When boys and girls don't have dads, for example, their telomeres by the age of 9 are 14% shorter. Your telomeres are a part of your cell, which, when it gets 14% shorter, means that you will have a 14% reduction in life expectancy. However, the telomeres of boys without fathers by the age of 9 are 40% shorter than even girls are. So this just gives you one of about 55 significant clues that when children don't have a lot of closeness to their dads, the degree to which they suffer. And the degree to which they suffer is even greater for the sons than the daughters. Just logically, when a boy looks at his father, he sees a role model, and if he's doing something that's making him happy, then that is a good role model. My dad gave up a number of promotions to spend more time with us. So I grew up understanding that promotions were not power. That what was power was the ability to be close to the family. And that's the way we need to define that. But the issue is so great that we're creating, as you know, a commission to create a White House Council on Boys and Men, so that when we look at boys' issues, we don't just see one issue like father involvement. We see the purpose void. We see the pressure on boys to have heroic intelligence rather than health intelligence. We begin to define what health intelligence is, like the ability to cry, the ability to be happy. And so rather than just defining power as feeling obligated to earn money somebody else spends while we die sooner.
So what would be the importance of having this council of men?
It will help the entire country begin to have a discussion about these issues. Right now, when it comes to gender, the only discussion that people are having is about how women are hurt and are victims. So what we did, we benefited from the women's movement, but the women's movement looked at if you could imagine a magnifying glass, it took a magnifying glass to women's experience of powerlessness. And it took a magnifying glass to women's experience of male power. It did not take a magnifying glass to men's experience of powerlessness or men's experience of women's power. The expectation to have to pay for a woman on a date, the expectation to have to be a provider and a breadwinner. The White House Council on Boys and Men will have that discussion involve 4 magnifying glasses. The magnifying glass of men and women, and not just liberal women and not just liberal men, but conservative women and men as well.
Thank you.
Personally, when I was hearing you speak, I liked hearing everything you said because it all resonates. You know, Naj and I are, I would like to say, survivors of the boys' crisis. We were lucky enough to fall into an organization called Boys Men Mentoring, and I was lucky enough to be like adopted by 2 of the men. One of the co-founders, Joe Sigerson, and the program director, Anthony Hutchings.
Boys to Men in San Diego.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
And so I was lucky enough to have men to take me in to show me how to be a boy, because at the time, just not having a male role model, I didn't realize till like 15 years old how much that angered me of having, and it's not that I didn't have men in my life, I just didn't have the right men in my life who actually, they were at-home fathers, but they weren't the good at-home kind of fathers. They were just, you know, sitting around, okay, yeah, go to school, I don't care. And so, you know, I believe in everything you're doing. I believe in the White House Council on Boys and Men, because that is what the world needs, you know. And now look at us, we're right here interviewing you, and it's like we're Oprah.
Not yet, but along with the lines of that is we still are survivors. I mean, we're still surviving through it. I mean, we're a young adults now. We pretty much don't really know what it's like to be a man. We haven't come to that kind of point in our lives, and we kind of don't know what direction we're going.
Yes.
We never had that kind of role model in our lives, and it's just like it affects us still today.
Absolutely.
So like, also acquiring other role models in our life, like through Boys to Men, it's helped us get an idea of what kind of men we want to be.
Yes.
But it's different than having a father show you.
Yes, absolutely.
So we miss out on that.
And I think one of the things that a White House Council on Boys and Men can do is, in a way, it can be a universal father. It can be, it's a way of saying there are answers to these questions, and there are many issues. When you choose a woman and you begin to have children, are you going to be fearful that if you get divorced, that you're going to lose the children? If you have sex with a woman and she says that you're the father, is there a possibility of paternity fraud? If you're a male and you want to earn a living, is it fair that only you are going to be needing to register for the draft? If you are wanting to be involved in having a good emotional intelligence, who are the mentors to treat you? If you don't happen to live in San Diego and you're not benefiting from Boys to Men as an organization, what about the Cub Scouts? What about the Boy Scouts? What about the Explorers? What about Mankind Project, which is a powerful organization for older men? What about the Young Men's Ultimate Weekend? People do not know about resources for boys and men because they're not asking these questions of which are the best groups to join when you get older. Are Elks? Is it Kiwanis? Is it Rotary? And so these are the types of things that aren't out there for discussion, and that is truly a catastrophe for so many young men, particularly young men without fathers.
Yeah. Along with that is a lot of people don't know what questions to ask.
Yes, exactly.
So how will you do about giving them access to that kind of resource?
And that's what, when you have a White House Council, it's sort of, you're not just having a little office with that in the White House. The moment you start saying boys and men have issues and problems, it begins to catalyze thousands of foundations to be able to grant money for further studying of what those problems are. That begins to make headlines, and people begin to say, oh my goodness, boys do have problems with in school. They need recess to a greater degree. We don't have much vocational education here in school. Why is it that in Japan, 23% of boys go through a vocational education track, and 99.6% of Japanese boys going through that vocational education track get jobs? 99.6%. So we have this enormous unemployment rate among young males, particularly among young African American males, and this can be resolved by things like vocational education. But a White House Council on Boys and Men begins to spread the word that these things work, and also to check out what things don't work.
Thank you.